I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house
In
burned.
the 21st century, the Mafia has continued to be involved in a broad spectrum of illegal activities. But the right question would be, does the Mafia still exist in 2022? While traditional Mafia presence and activities have waned since the late 90s, they still exist today, though they generally keep a low profile. However, in some industries such as gambling, drugs, restaurants, and bars, they still have a significant influence. Gambino family. The Gambinos have long been the most powerful of all Mafia families, and they have been in the headlines multiple times recently. The two big recent stories were the release of Gene Gotti and then the murder of family street boss Frank Cali. Street Boss has become the new moniker for the highest-ranking family member not in prison. Gene Gotti is now 71 and back on the streets. The brother of John Gotti Sr., who went to prison for heroin trafficking 3 decades ago. Gene was released in September 2018, and immediately rumors of a possible Mafia war began to swirl on the streets. Sure enough, on March 13, 2019, Frankie Boy Cali was shot to death. It appeared that the Gotti era had returned with a bang, but not quite. Cali was killed by a young man named Anthony Camello after an incident that had nothing to do with Mafia business. Domenico Little Dom Cefalù is the boss of the family at this time, but he's been semi-retired for the last 4 years. Meanwhile, Gene Gotti knows with his last name, he will be under a constant microscope with state and federal authorities. If he plans on seizing power, he hasn't yet made that known publicly. At the current time, it is unclear if anyone has been named the new street boss. The Gambinos are not even 50% of what they were in their golden days, but even what's left of them equals a Mafia family that's nowhere near extinction. They still have their hooks in local construction and various other industries, both blue-collar and information-age crimes. There is likely to be some fierce competition for power for the Gambinos over the next couple of years. The Mafia are rarely killing each other in today's society, but a battle for control over the country's top Mafia family could produce a street war. It appears whoever takes over the family, not everyone is going to be happy. Genovese family. With all the attention surrounding the Gambino family lately, the Genovese family is sure to capitalize. While they are involved with low-hanging fruit like narcotics, they also have a well-diversified stream of income. They have tons of money invested in bookmaking and a good number of their higher-level guys who are free to operate. What helps the Genovese family is that they tend to have more peaceful leadership changes than the other families. When the other families are spending time infighting, the Genovese continue to grow, staying under the radar as much as possible. With the Gambinos in turmoil, the Genovese family appears to become the top Mafia family in the country, a spot they've had before. Their current acting boss is Liborio Bellomo, a man who was around back during Chin's reign. Chin originally picked Bellomo as acting boss, but then Bellomo went to prison for a decade. He was released in 2008 and again took the spot back after acting boss Danny Leo went to prison. Bellomo and the Genovese are operating strongly in the shadows. Colombo family. The Colombo family is now turning a page after 4 decades with an imprisoned Carmino the Snake Persico as boss, or so it seemed. Longtime imprisoned boss Persico died last year after pulling the strings for 30 years behind bars. In an expected but greedy move, Persico named his son Alley Boy Persico acting boss. Alley Boy is serving a life sentence, so the decision only makes sense in that he was keeping the power within his family. Along with an acting boss in prison, they also have a street boss, Andrew Russo, known as Andy Mush. They still operate in factions, but at least they're not currently at war, something the Colombos know too well. Bonanno family. The Bonanno family currently is a bit larger than the Colombos, but only half the size of the Gambinos and Genovese. Their current boss is convicted murderer Michael Mancuso, who served 10 years for killing his own wife in 1984. He pleaded guilty to a mob-related murder in 2006 and got 15 years. He was released on March 12, 2019. The Bonannos have always benefited from a close relationship with the Gambinos, and that still exists today. Several Bonanno and Gambino members were charged with narcotics trafficking and loan sharking in an FBI sting in November 2017. It's not as often these days that two Mafia families work so closely together. Mancuso has Joseph Camarano Jr., who was acquitted of racketeering and extortion charges in March 2019. The consigliere John Porky Zancocchio was acquitted in the same case. It's likely that the Bonannos are going to prosper since their upper echelon are all free men. Lucchese family. The Lucchese crime family was founded nearly a century ago and continues to operate today. They've had more than their fair share of setbacks, but survived because of their ability to operate mostly in the shadows. The Gambinos and Genovese families have traditionally drawn far more FBI attention over the years. Lately, however, the Luccheses are feeling the heat. More than 30 of their members and associates have been nabbed in federal stings since 2017. The boss is still Little Vic Amuzzo, who has been in prison since 1992. Amuzzo is now the longest reigning boss. The family has at least 7 crews with significant territory in Long Island, Manhattan, the Bronx, and New Jersey. Amuzzo has named Big Mike DeSantis acting boss, and the underboss is Stephen Wonderboy Crea. Crea and his son Stephen Jr. run the Bronx faction. Amuzzo informed them in 2017 that DeSantis was their new boss, and if they didn't cooperate, they'd be killed. The activities of these families continue as we watch this video, as we continue to bring you more videos like this. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click the subscribe button, and until the next video, see you soon.